Hi, my name is Jacob Kramer, and this is my video submission for the Practicum Midterm 2 Makeup. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. So for populating the data, if I go ahead and get all courses, you can see the data is pre-populated right there. And if you wanted to populate via Postman, we can use this endpoint here, and this will add a course of ID 9 and an applicant of ID 10. And if we go ahead and query all courses once again, you can see that the new course with ID 9 and the new applicant of ID 10 are in there. Next, I'm going to demonstrate registration use cases, application default states, capacity constraints, and registration constraints for STEM. And I'll go ahead and go through the list that was outlined in our PDF. So first, we're going to say the same applicant cannot register for the same course more than once. So let's go ahead and enroll the same applicant. They appear right here, actually. And if I go ahead and send again, you'll notice that in course 6, they do not appear twice. And if I go to the console, it says error registering, the student has already applied. So that satisfies that constraint. The next is the course should be offered in the selected semester to allow enrollment. So if we go to, we attempt to register for course 8, and we'll make it a new student as well. Say B student, and then we attempt to enroll in course 8 here. Course 8 is special because it is actually offered in the spring semester, and in our console, we show that this course is not offered this season because in our config, we've actually specified the season to be fall. So in Postman, you'll notice that this applications has not changed. Course 7 is actually it is a class that is offered in fall, but the status is closed. So if we go into the console, it will say error registering, this course is closed. So that satisfies that constraint. So by default, the application status is pending. If we go ahead and enroll a student, this student into course 1, their status will be, let's see, ID 12, yep. Their status will be pending, and to show that default pending status, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove that. Actually, I'm going to first update this. So we'll add a new student. We'll actually remove the status pending. So now when we scroll down to the student of an ID of 13, their status is still pending. So it's like that by default unless you have the special incentives, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. So first, for the next constraint, so we need to stop course enrollment from the applicants once we reach twice the capacity of the course. Now the capacity of the course is 4, so we need to add 2 more applicants to reach 8. So we'll go ahead and do that. There we go, status is still open, and we'll add 1 more. The reason why I changed the emails is because, yeah, a student can enroll twice. So it's a little pain, but we'll get through it. And there we go. The status is now closed for this course because we've reached double the capacity. In fact, for the acceptance constraints, we'll notice now that out of the applicants, so we have Jake Kramer, which is accepted, James Ackerman, who is accepted. Now we have 2 additional ones. Tanya Jennings is now marked as accepted, even though she was marked as pending before. And Jenny Christensen was also, she is actually pending because the new student, who's male, was accepted since even though Jenny's, did not intend this, but even though Jenny's application was there earlier than this student's, this male student's, B student, the male student was accepted because I actually alternate in the algorithm whether if it selects a male applicant or a female applicant. And that's actually to demonstrate the equal gender focus algorithm there. And then after it alternates selecting between the gender, it will choose the soonest student application, which was B student, which was like the second or first one we added to this list. Finally, we want to demonstrate quick one-time acceptance incentives. So I'm actually going to reset, quick reload the data here. And we'll demonstrate this by adding to course 6 when we make someone the first applicant in a course, even though we mark their status as pending, their status here is accepted because they are the early bird. And finally, if they are an underrepresented STEM student, go ahead and change this. So even though they are not the early birds, they also get their own benefits here. So you'll notice that this new student, F student, give me 1 second here. Let me make sure the data is reset. Oh, the STEM student is false. That is why. That is actually an edge case I wanted to demonstrate later. But yes, so the early bird, regardless of STEM, does get that early bird incentive with this acceptance status, but then the new underrepresented student must be in STEM. Oops, true. We will give them G. So now if we add them, even though they are first, there we go. Their status is accepted because they are an underrepresented STEM student. And there have been no other underrepresented STEM students accepted in this course. So that does it for the registration use cases, all of the registration constraints and the acceptance constraints. I'm going to go over just a couple of edge cases. So we just demonstrated an underrepresented student not in STEM. That was one of the edge cases I wanted to go over. When an underrepresented student in STEM enrolls first, do others get the enrollment incentive? So let's go ahead, save, reload, and reset the data here. So since this student is already an underrepresented STEM student, they get both the early bird and the STEM underrepresented STEM student benefit. And if we actually make the next student not represented or well represented, and we give them just like J, add them, their status should show as pending, just like that. Our next edge case is changing other fields when keeping the same email. So simple as that. If I just try to pretend to be someone else, just change a field and I send this, you'll notice that this student has already applied. And so that edge case is covered. Do students have enrollment incentives when they are registered for other courses? So the answer to that is no, and I will demonstrate that very quickly. So we will go ahead and add this, this student. It doesn't matter if they're underrepresented or if they're first. We'll add them to course 1 first. We can trust that that worked. And then if we go to 6, we add them to 6. Now they will be first, and they will also be an underrepresented student, but because they are enrolled in another course, we add them first to course 6. You notice that, let's see. Give me one moment. Let's reset that data just to be sure. In fact, let's just make them a normal. Let's make them a normal student. So we'll add them to course 1. And now I should verify, yes, that they are added here. Oh, yes. Okay, this is why it did not work, because I have to specify it as the same student. Yes, so the ID has to be the same because it has to know that it's referring to the same student. So now, if it doesn't actually matter whether it's a normal student, STEM underrepresented. If I go ahead and add this to our course 6, because they are currently signed up for another course, there we go. Their status is pending because they are already signed up for another course. So they don't get that incentive as it's specified in the PDF. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And I believe I covered all constraints. So thank you.